On the Drudge Report, I see a story entitled, "One Killed, One Injured in Separate Accidents Involving Same Subway Train." This is New York, CBS local. Man who stepped between two subway train cars to urinate ended up being struck dead. By the way, I don't recommend that to people. By the number 6 train in East Harlem on Tuesday, just 10 minutes after another man was injured when he rolled onto the tracks and was injured by the same train. Let's see. Multiple incidents of people being struck and killed by subway trains have splashed across the New York headlines over the past couple of months. In 2 incidents, riders were pushed in front of oncoming trains. And it goes on. Well, you know, Mr. Producer, Mr. Call Screener, you used the train, I believe, or the subway, I should say. Is that correct? Well, we have a test. Obama, Biden, and Carney, who like quoting each other. The test is if we can save one person, then whatever we do is worth it. So I say shut down the subway trains in New York. Well, look, it would save people because obviously, despite all the controls, all the laws, all the criminal stuff, people are killing themselves. People are killing other people. And notice, in this instance, Mr. Producer, they're not using firearms. They're using the New York subway system. Yeah, so we need to close it. So I'm going to start a group that we seek to ban the New York City subway system because we have people, well, let me see. Let's do it this way. Why do you need all these subway trains? Why do you need them? Why do we have cars? We have buses. We have taxis. What do we need all? We don't need all this. Isn't that what the liberals say? We don't need all these subway trains. We have people committing suicide. We have people taking a leak and getting killed. We have people pushing other people in front of the trains. We got all kinds of stuff going on these subway trains. So let's shut down the New York subway system because it will save one person, Mr. Producer. Just one. Well, it's worth it. It's worth it. What is it, only 7 bullets in a magazine? Is that the new rule in New York? I say only 7 trains. What do you think of that? What do you need 10 for? What do you need 10 for? Doesn't take 10 trains to kill a guy who steps between the train and takes a leak. Does it, Mr. Producer? No. Doesn't take 10 trains to kill a deer either. Like all of us with guns are running around killing deer, you idiots. I love that one. Hey, doesn't take 10 bullets to kill a deer. Well, who cares? So I don't have a gun to kill a deer, moron. But where was I? Yes. So we're going to start a movement here to shut down the New York subway subway system. In fact, let us get that Carney, that Art Carney, that Jay Carney quote again. That would be cut, what is it? Cut 3. Now, he mentions a child, but, you know, my faith, the way I grew up, it's all life is precious. Children, senior citizens, middle-aged, whatever you are. All life. Actually, birth or not yet birth. But let's listen to Jay Carney today. Cut 3, go.
If these things were easy, they would have been achieved already. If renewal of the assault weapons ban were easily accomplished, it would not need renewing because it would have happened already. The fact of the matter is the President's committed to pushing these proposals. He is not naive about the challenges that exist, but he believes that, as he said yesterday, if even one child's life can be saved by the actions we take here in Washington, we must take those actions.
All right. Then we need a federal law shutting down the New York subway system. That's not even protected under the Second Amendment. That's not even protected under the Bill of Rights. And besides, we don't believe in federalism anymore, do we? No. So once again, I'm leading a movement based on J. Art Carney's arguments, the vice presidents, the presidents, and all the rest of these clowns. I mean, the people. I'm not allowed to use the word clowns. I'm leading a movement now. Let's shut down the New York subway system. Shut down the New York subway system, or SNYSS. How do you like that, Mr. Producer? We could print up bumper stickers and everything else. Because, see, ladies and gentlemen, here's the deal. If we can save one life, if one life can be saved, look, nobody said this would be easy. I know, I'm sure there's a lot of, the people will be all worked up into a frenzy by the special interests that demand that we have a New York subway system, by the unions, by all the rest. They're going to be worked up in a frenzy because there's money to be made in this, by the subway lobby. Money to be made in this by the subway lobby. I wonder how many people, now that I think about this, have died as a result of the New York subway system, Mr. Producer. And other crimes, as a matter of fact. How many people have been assaulted in various ways, sexually or other ways? It's got to be high, don't you think? I mean, what we have here in the New York subway system, I think, is a moving criminal enterprise, actually. A moving criminal enterprise. Well, all kinds of crimes reported and unreported. And it's not just on the subway trains, is it? It's on the platforms where you're waiting for these trains. So I say this. We need to have common sense subway reform. We need to end subway violence. And we need to be able to do these things if we're going to be an advanced civilized society. I am just sick and tired of reading these stories with these headlines about all the deaths and all the maiming and all the crimes on the New York City subway system. That's all. And not just New York. I'm not picking on New York. They're all over. But the governor of New York, he doesn't do anything about this. How many more people need to die on the New York City subway system before the governor of New York does something about this? And I'm serious. We need common sense subway reform. We need to stop subway violence. We need to do everything we can to turn this around. Because there's all kinds of crimes going on these subways. And suicide, all kinds of stuff. They don't even keep statistics on it for some reason. Because of the subway lobby. The subway lobby doesn't want us to know anything. Well, I think we ought to know everything. The Huffington Post, or the Huffington Compost, a liberal site, a July 25, 2012 article, the New York City subway averages 26 suicides a year and claims around 200 victims total. Around 200 deaths a year. The author says, is it any wonder that we're all slightly more sketched out when we step onto the train for that morning commute? The good news is that despite recent events, New Yorkers have less reason to freak out over subway safety these days than they ever have before. The city's underground transportation system has been under construction for over a century. People have been dying as a result of it pretty much nonstop since digging first started. Compared to the exotic accidents, crashes, and tunnel failures of yesteryear, the causes of death for more recent victims of the subway have become downright mundane. This is from the Huffington Compost. So the New York subway system, New York City subway system, averages 26 suicides a year and around 200 deaths total a year. Now, decided to look at this. Violent crime in New York City has been dropping since 1990, Wikipedia, for what it's worth. Same year, in 2012, there were 414 homicides, the lowest number since at least 1963. So 414 total homicides in 2012 in New York City. We have about an average of 10,000 deaths on the New York City subway system. I don't know how many of those are actual homicides, but a certain percentage. And I'm saying that if Jay Carney's right, that if we can institute rules that can save one child, or I'm saying one human being, because I have more compassion than Jay Carney, then we should institute it and shut down the New York City subway system. Because one death is one death too many. In fact, shut down all the damn subway systems until we get our hands around this, till we have a national discussion, if you will. Maybe have a commission, Mr. Producer. The commission that oversees and then makes recommendations on how to make our subway system safer throughout our metropolitan areas, given how dangerous they are. 200 deaths a year, thereabouts, on the New York City subway system. Did you ever dream that? I can hear this Cuomo yelling through his big mouth right now. Although I can't, because they like the subway system, so. But these things are hard, ladies and gentlemen. We ought to shut it down. It's hard, and therefore it should be done, because that's the way the liberal, if it's hard, it ought to be done. So it's hard, so let's do it. And as I say, the subway system, unlike our right to bear arms, is not protected under the Bill of Rights. Now, you may say, as I discussed earlier, this is an issue for the state, Mark. This is a federalism issue. And I would say to you, well, so what? Since when do we honor the 10th Amendment in federalism? Since never. Besides, one life is one life too many. Makes you wonder, doesn't it, folks?